I have some 100% cotton paper, and this is on some beige cardstock. So I'm going to be adding that to that, and then I wanted to work on the book just a little bit more. So on the front, it's kind of a little boring, so I wanted to dress it up. I did try some smaller book corners, but they just don't fit. So I have these. They're not very heavy because they have this beautiful filigree design. And if you've never used these before, in the back here, there's like a little punch, and it goes all the way through, so it creates kind of a pokey area. So you just have to put this on and press that down. Now, I use specialized pliers for this. These are jewelry pliers. They're called teflon pliers, so they have little teflon sheeting on them. And it's pretty easy to do. You just come in and just press inward. So you want to press and move down, and that's going to push this piece in. Okay? So fairly easy to do that. We're going to go ahead and put this first one on. So I'm going to just clamp it and kind of push down, and that's going to clamp it there. And then I'm going to do the top exactly the same. And then I'm just going to press all along until I get that nice and snug on there. Okay, and you can see I've pressed that in the back. So I'll show you this one from the back. So we're going to put it on. So we're going to put that on, and you can see it's open. So I'm going to press, and as I press, I'm pushing it in. And then I'll do the same thing to the other side. I'm going to press and push in. Go. And the reason I'm using the Teflon pliers is so that I don't scratch the brass. So I don't know if I'm going to put it on the back. I may just do it on the front, kind of as an accent. Yeah, I'll do it on the back too. Why not? So I'm going to go ahead and put that on. I'm going to hold it in place. Again, I'm just going to press and push in. Those on there. All right. So we now have our book corners applied. We're going to move on to this. When I originally printed this, I printed it on cardstock, but it's not very thick. So I ran this through my Xyron, and that basically turns it into a giant sticker. Okay, you can see that it has a little bit of a glare, like a little bit of a shine to it. And then I'm just going to take it, put it here in the corner of my paper. Line it up. Press it down. I'm going to get out my bone folder. And now, when I cut these out, they're going to be twice as thick. I did the same thing with these giant tickets. Alright, so I got out the ephemera, and we've got a lot of pieces here. We need to do the front, and all of this inside. So, we don't want to put a lot on this. And I'll tell you why, because even right now, without anything in it, it already pops a gator mouth. There's nothing in here. This is just the effects of sewing in pages to this book, okay? So we don't really need it to be, we don't want it to be too wide because it has to fit in the book, in the box. And the box is about 1 inch. It's really not that wide. The inside dimension of the box is right at 1 inch. And our book, pressed flat, is right at under 3/4 of an inch, right? Like right at 5/8. So we don't want to put a whole lot in here because we don't want to make this so big that we can't put it into the box. So we're going to be very conservative with what we use. So we need a front. Nope, that gets lost. No. So I'm looking at the bigger elements here. Nope. No. No. Okay, I could live with this. Of course, we'd have to ink it up. Maybe put a few dimensionals under the center before we glue this down, just to give it a little dimension. And I don't really want to cover this with too much bulk. Maybe... No. No, way too busy. Too thin. Let's take a look at this. So, you know, this is all about just trying it out and seeing what works for you and what doesn't. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay. Put this one away. That one's not doing it for me. I liked this one, so let's take a look at this and see what we got here. 8 stripes. Never could find the end. It's simple, but I like it. All right, I think we're going to go with this one. So let's get some dimensionals, and we'll do the front. And then we'll kind of work our way in. All right. So I have a sheet of round dimensionals. I'm just going to put some inside here towards the center, because I'm going to glue the rest of this down. We're going to ink this piece up. Now, inking something like this is a little bit tedious, so you could use a brush to do this. And I would actually recommend that you use a brush to do this. But since I'm not set up to work with a brush right now, I am just going to use my dauber. And we're just going to get as much of this as we can. And I think we did pretty good. Okay. So now I'm going to take these off. And I'm going to be using Fabri-Tac on this. So I'm going to release these. And then I'm going to get out my Fabri-Tac. I'm going to be adding that here to the back. Okay. Get the lid on that. We'll decide where it's going to go. And then I'm going to press this down. I'm going to use some clamps to hold it. So I will be back in just a few minutes after this dries. Okay. So this has been on here for a little while. We'll take these off. And we've got just a little bit of movement there to the rows. And I went ahead and put the washi tape on using, again, some Fabri-Tac, because I don't know about your washi, but my washi tape don't stick. So using a little bit of Fabri-Tac on here to add the washi tape so that it stays. Okay. Alrighty. So I have a front on here. And we're going to go ahead and kind of work our way in. So the first thing we have is this page right here. And we've got a few things here. I thought, you know, maybe a book plate. We could put a book plate on here. This would be cute. A couple little gems on it so somebody could write their name in, or we could put it down in the corner. But I want to go through on these outside pockets. I'm probably going to use some of the larger pieces, saving the smaller pieces for the inside. And I'm going to do what I always do. I'm just going to kind of get an idea of what I want and where I want to put it. And that's kind of it. You know, we may move things around as we go through, but we're just getting started, so you never know what I'm going to do with this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and put all this stuff away, and I will be right back when we can get started kind of seeing what we're going to do as far as washi tape and stuff, and see if we can get anything in here where we like it. Okay, I'll be right back. So I have gotten back the pieces that I wanted from the printer, and I went ahead and backed those on some cotton, and I reimagined this front piece, and I'm going to be putting in some washi tape here. And you know, washi tape doesn't actually stick, so I can glue it down or I can tape it down. In this case, I'm going to tape it down. Out of the way. So I'm just going to put some double-sided tape on here. Get that off of there. And let me get a narrower one here. Yeah. This is how much I use my double-sided tape. It's kind of fuzzy. Okay. All right. So now we have some double-sided tape on there. I'll go ahead and release that. And I do want to straighten this edge up a little bit. There we go. So I decided to just go with a piece of this washi tape here at the bottom. If I can get this to release. There we go. I'm going to line this up over on this side, bring it over, and put it in, and then just remove the backing and allow that to adhere. All right, and then trying to decide. I think I'm just going to go with the fabulous. And I'm not going to put the glue all the way across this. I'm going to go about halfway. And that way that can be a little tucky spot once it's glued down. Okay, so then we're going to move on. We're doing nothing here. We're going to do this little rose up here. So let's figure out where everything's going to go. Okay, glue, glue, glue. Ooh, you know what, before we glue, we have to ink. So I'm going to ink everything, whether I'm putting it in or I think I'm putting it in. And then I will be back and we'll do the final installation here. Okay, I have the paper pad here that I have been using thus far to decorate this journal. So we're probably using that for some pockets. We have all of the ephemera that we put in here. We have the stickers, much like the one that we used in the box. And then I have some of the ephemera that I had printed and Hubbard went and picked up for me today, so that I had these to be able to put in here as well. And everything that we put in the book has been inked at this point. So let's go back. We're at the beginning. We did put this one in just before we kind of disappeared. And now we have this one that needs to go in. And again, I am going to be gluing this one only about halfway so it can be used as a tuck spot. So I think we're going to go this way with it. So we're going to put some glue from just shy of the midpoint. Yeah. And we're going to be putting this one up here. We're going to go ahead and move on. And we had this little piece here that I wanted to put on, and I think that I am going to be putting this, I don't think I'm going to put it on here. I am going to be putting this on, and I want this piece to have a brad on it, and we're going to be putting a pocket on the other side to cover that. So let's do this. Let's do the rows up here to cover the brad. So we're going to get out our handy dandy hole punch here. Decide where we're going to be putting this. I'm going to be putting it right there. So I'm going to just come over that with my hole punch. And I'm going to put my hole in, and then we've got our brads here, and these are from Bo Bunny, so we know they're going to match the paper. And I'm thinking maybe one of these little tiny gems down here, so let's go ahead and pull that. Get that out. We're going to put that through. We're going to open up the wings on the other side. And then we're going to flip that page over because we're going to cover that using this rose. So let's get some glue on here. I'm going to hold this down till it adheres because it's got a bit of a puff in the middle of it because of the brad. Okay. So we're using that to kind of hide this. Okay. Alright, so we got that on there. And we're going to be putting a pocket on here. So let me grab my scissors. This point off too. I just don't like pointy pockets, you know, if I can avoid them. Let's see, where do we want to put this? I like it over here. I'm going to put it on the outside. So we're going to ink it. And then I'm going to put glue along the corner edge. We have our little pieces here. Now I inked these already, and I'm going to stick two of these together that are the same size, and then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue here, And a little bit of glue back here. And then I'm going to open this up. Okay. All right, we got that on. You know, I'm not really liking these pieces. They're just not working for me. So we're not going to use these two. Let's take a look and see if there's anything in the stamps that we like. And I kind of like this little butter, this little guy here. And I don't trust the stickers. So I'm just going to add a little extra glue. Okay. Liking it so far. Moving on. All right, then we have this. Okay, so I went through and I added a few more things to this. It's not too big. We wanted to keep it on the small side because it does need to fit in the box. And we have the box pretty much done. I just have a little work left to do. I'm going to finish that up off camera, and then I will be back one last time for one more video to do the walkthrough and tell you why I made the choices that I made here. So, if you are new to the channel, do me a favor and hit the red button and subscribe. Like me, ring my bell, and share me with all of your friends. Then your friends can be my friends, and my friends can be your friends, and our friends can get to be friends, and that is what a community is all about. Till the next time, guys. Bye-bye.